Hey everyone, Castellan here, welcoming you to another one of my LEGO Street Corner tours. Basically, it's a LEGO City tour done one street at a time. On this particular street corner, we have three of my modular MOCs. The Green Room, the Pocket Park, and the cornerstone of this street corner, the Corner Apartments. And now a bit of a flyby to show off the building features from various angles. The first feature worth showing off is that the building is a very blue building. The next feature is the repeating vertical elements on each of the floors. And finally, of course, we have that very distinctive white tower running down the front of it. So now let's jump straight into the design criteria I had for this project, which is to say, what was I trying to accomplish, how was I planning on accomplishing it, and why was I trying to accomplish it. The central core of my design criteria for the corner apartments stem from the fact that I started building it immediately after I finished building the green room. So my goals were essentially to refine and maybe even perfect the ideas I had started in that project. The first of those ideas is what you can see here. The fact that the floor of the building is built from just 3 plates, and there are no underplate supports, and the whole thing is held together by the walls that are built above the plates. Of course, with the corner apartments, I was able to do this with better colors than I could with the green room. I was able to trade in that ugly grass green for a nice true blue. The second idea that was a holdover from the green room was the idea to make all of the floors of this building interchangeable, meaning that the floors of this building could be stacked in any order without affecting the basic functionality of the building as a whole. This idea came up pretty late in the development of the green room, which means it only has one quote-unquote heavy sarcasm interchangeable floor. The only thing that's actually interchangeable about this floor is that it can be removed entirely. The same can be done for this building, although as you can see, the effect is much more extreme. The last design criteria I had for this project was that while each level would follow the same basic shape, each floor would also have its own unique trim color, which would in turn create its own unique pattern on the outside of the building. This would serve two purposes. For display purposes, the different colors and patterns meant that the building would look different depending on which order the floors were stacked. This would be a bigger deal if I had more than 2 of the interchangeable floors, but that will have to wait until my building has a permanent home, and maybe until it has some taller context to surround it. Architecturally, the different colors and patterns make each individual apartment a distinctive unit. A minifigure on the street can look up at this building, point to a specific spot and say, "There, that is my apartment. That is my home." From an architectural perspective, this personal connection to a building is pretty important. And now to check out the details of the building on a floor-by-floor basis. Starting at the ground floor, we can see that I have built this with storefront glazing, set a half panel back, just like literally every other building on this block. It's a pretty nice effect, however it did create some corner problems. You can't do both sides of a corner a half block back, which is why we get a bench in the corner. At one end of the building, where the pattern sort of falls apart, we instead have a little planter right behind the fire hydrant. And on the other side of the building, at the base of the white tower, we have, if you can see in there, a little snack bar window with a little snack shack on the inside. And we can see from above there are a few details in the snack shack, but not a whole lot. And there are almost no details in the rest of the ground floor, just to give people room to loiter. We also have a corner stairs and a desk for the security guard, who keeps all the riffraff from coming upstairs and bothering the apartments themselves. And now let's look at those apartments. As I've implied before, every apartment has the same layout, which allows it to be endlessly repeated. We can start with the corner stairs, which wrap around the corner, as corner stairs implies. We have around them a walkway to allow you to get from the landing of the top of one flight of stairs to the bottom of the next. And on the side of that, we have a hall with an entry into the apartment itself. The apartment wraps around the rest of the base plates. Start with a kitchen in one side, some living area, the bedroom, as it were, and a very tiny bathroom with a partly removable wall just to make it easier to access that very, very tiny space. And from the exterior of the building, we can see the very fancy kitchen window, which has some sloped bricks and a bow over it. The regular windows, which have an awning, and then each level has its own personal window trim. And off in the corner, a very small, detailless window to let some light into the bathroom. I did try to customize the interior of the apartments. In the kitchen of this one, we have some artwork, of course, a sink, stove, and the big detail here is I tried, but kind of failed, to do some custom curtains. Other than that, we've got a very random bit of corner furniture, just a table, and in this case, a pair of bunk beds. Plus some very, very basic bathroom equipment. Moving up to the next level, we can see the floor pattern beginning to repeat itself. In the corner, we have the exact same stairs, with the only difference being that the railing trim color matches the trim on that floor on the outside. We've got the same walls, same door into the apartment itself. The kitchen in the same area, though with a slightly different model. And the rest of the apartment follows roughly the same pattern. On this particular level, we've got a fancier two-countertop kitchen with an oven and hood on one side. And interestingly, this apartment appears to be inhabited by someone who found himself in the I Dream of Jeannie situation. And as you can hopefully see here, the inhabitants of this apartment and the lucky guy who found himself in the I Dream of Jeannie scenario is the guy from the Lego Movie Creative Cavalry set. Apparently, he used one of the wishes to wish for a pet velociraptor, one of his wishes for the bit of equipment he had in that set, and his third wish, we can assume, is that he is married to Lara Croft, the Tomb Raider. Of course, that gives him a couple options. Does he want to be married to the classic Lara Croft with her twin pistols and hefty hairdo? Or the modern Lara Croft with her more sensitive hairdo and bow and arrow? These are the kind of tough decisions you want to have to make in your life. And that brings us to the top floor, the penthouse apartments, and the only apartment unit with a separate floor plan. So, being the top floor, we don't need to have any stairs going up above. So, from the stair landing, all we have is a short little hallway leading to a common roof deck. And beside that, we have a very, very small apartment, even by Lego standards. All this one has is a toilet, a table, and a bed. And just like the apartment below this one, this apartment is inhabited by a character from the Lego Movie, specifically Lego Chris Pratt, and his Lego love interests, Wildstyle and Claire. I would have included Gamora in here, but, well, she's still in the box somewhere. And just to cap things off, we have the roof plates, with a parapet, a very simple AC unit, and just a hint of some AC ducting running along the roof. And there you have it, my LEGO street corner tour of my corner MOC, the Corner Apartments. If you've got any thoughts, leave them in the comments below, and I will see you next time. Bye.